Richard Rawlings, good
Hello,
to
sir.
see you, my friend. Gas Monkey Garage, Gas Monkey Energy Drinks, and we'll get to all the stuff. Fast and Loud, I think, is where a lot of people know
Absolutely.
you from initially. At least that's where I caught you. But the story is pretty interesting. So, if you're just listening, we're at the garage right now, your facility. I've seen the cars, I've seen the stuff you're working on. You're doing the fabrication, you're doing all the work in-house, right?
Absolutely. We do everything in-house here, except for technically interior, but we do it here. I just have to bring in the interior guy. We got all the equipment, but we don't have a full-time interior dude.
And you're a car guy for sure, but I feel like you're sort of an entrepreneur at heart.
Absolutely.
That's the fair, who has a passion for cars.
I found a way to take what I was really into and make some money doing it.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. I used to do. Well, you were a fireman, right?
I was a police officer and firefighter before I was old enough to drink.
Really?
Yeah. So I was carrying a badge and a gun. I couldn't order a beer.
Really? Well, how'd that work out?
Well, I got shot in '92. Got over that. Stayed on the force until around 95, 96.
Well, okay. So when did you go into the academy?
Like at 18 and a half, 19, right before I turned 19.
Out here in Texas.
Out here in Texas. And then I was applying. I got my police certification, and I was applying to be a police officer in a town here called Coppell. And I was working part-time as a police officer at another location, and they were taking applications for firemen also. I'd never even thought about it. But back then, we didn't have all these computers and, download. So it was a big old stack of carbon copy papers and copies of everything. And so I just duplicated it and chunked it in there too. And next thing you know, I got one of those spots, was in the fire academy.
So it's funny, I tried to be a fireman too, probably about the same time, but I'm in LA, California, and they weren't hiring white dudes.
Yeah, probably.
They basically just said, you want to be a fireman, you're not going to be a fireman because we're only hiring
It was
non-white
sort of like
dudes.
that here.
Well, how'd you get in then as a white dude?
I don't know. I don't even know how I was considered strong enough to even do it. I probably weighed 120 pounds.
So you're a
just tall
cop
and
and a
lanky.
fireman at the same time?
Yeah.
And so it seemed like, now what does your dad do?
Well, my dad, all growing up, was like, most of his jobs were produce manager at like grocery stores and stuff. I like to say that I'm as white trash as it gets because my birth certificate says Piggly Wiggly.
Really?
Yeah, so you guys out there, you know what a Piggly Wiggly is?
Yeah.
Like a little grocery store. When I was born in '69, they put your dad's name and place of employment. So Piggly Wigglies are my birth certificate.
So your dad, come from humble upbringing.
We didn't have much.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that unlocks your imagination in that you got to make your own fun.
My dad instilled into me hard work because me growing up, he always had his main job, produce manager, and then every side job or anything else we could find. We threw newspapers, me and him, as side work from the time I was probably 8 until I was 16. And back then, you got 2 papers a day. So you got up at 3 in the morning, you went and threw the morning paper, and then you got dressed for school, went to school, and then you had to race home at 4 in the afternoon to throw the evening paper, and then get your homework done and go to bed. So he instilled, Richard, I don't ever want you to have to work as hard as I do. He goes, get a good job, get good benefits, and save, and he instilled that in me from a very young age. And I threw it all out the window.
Well, I mean, it is interesting learning how to work. Like I would tell people, I wanted my son, he's 19 now, but there was a time a couple of years ago I said, let the kid work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And then everyone said to me, you're rich. You don't want your son working at McDonald's? And I said, yeah, I want him working at McDonald's. And they said, why should he work at McDonald's? I said, to learn how to work, not for money. He doesn't need $11 an hour. He's got me, but he doesn't need anything. But he will learn how to work. Now, I worked at McDonald's because I had to, but I also learned how to work. There's a thing about work, which is people think it's, we're going to pick and choose. I'll be good if it's something I want to do, if it's something I'm not interested in. How about just learning how to work?
Period.
Just flat out, whatever it is you're doing.
I had to work. I had to tithe on the entire amount that I made. I had to save half of the entire amount that I made.
So you had to give 10%
to the church.
To the church of what you made, throwing newspapers and doing whatever it is you were doing.
Yeah. So let's say I made $100. 10 went to the church. 500, because that's half of what I actually made, went to savings, and I got 400.
50 if you made
$100. And
right.
So I got to keep $40. And
it's kind of like the government.
It was similar to that, and my dad and my stepmom taught me at that time. I think I filed my first taxes at 12, the 1040 EZ.
What? Yeah.
So, and they made me fill it out at the kitchen table.
So that's kind of interesting, your dad, because my dad didn't make any money, but he also didn't preach about work ethic and this kind of stuff, you know. Somehow, your dad was a good inspiration for work and hard work and sort of holding down more than one job at once and stuff like that. But he worked in a pretty pedestrian
Absolutely.
job.
My dad was very uneducated. I don't think he got out of maybe 8th grade. So he wasn't book smart, but he was street smart, and he wanted to instill in me hard work and saving and then his love for cars and motorcycles. So as hard as he worked, and as little as we had, he always had a toy in the garage, you know, whether it wasn't the best one, it wasn't the nicest one, and it wasn't like a show car or a show motorcycle, but he was proud of it, and he'd clean it and wax it, and I'd sit there and learn from him.
And so you get out of high school.
Yep.
You don't go to college. You become a cop, and you become a fireman at the same time.
Yep.
So now you're a cop and a fireman. Are you able to work both jobs simultaneously?
I was. It's called dual certification. So sometimes you're at work at the fire department, sometimes you're working at the police department. And towards the majority of the end of my career, I was only fireman, but I was carrying a police badge. You know, I was still certified.
And so how is it that you got yourself shot?
Man, I got carjacked at a freaking, I almost said the name, and I'm not supposed to, but I got carjacked at a very famous hamburger stand. And
when you were a cop?
Yeah, but I was off duty.
Right.
Because I was so young, I thought it was stupid for me to carry my gun. I carried my badge. But if I went out partying and trying to pick up some chicks and stuff like that, I think I was 22, I just was like, no sense in carrying a gun. That's dumb.
Did they require that you carry your gun as an off-duty officer?
No.
No. Okay, so you get carjacked at 22, but you don't have to get shot just because you get carjacked.
Dude, these guys, it was kind of a setup. Long story short, I pulled around to the window. It was 2 a.m. Me and my buddy went to these bars. He got lucky, went home with some chick. I'm by myself. I'm like, I got to have a hamburger. You know, it's 2 a.m. Drive through, and I heard her take the $20 bill, but when she shut the window, I heard it lock. I heard it click.
Oh, really?
And that just caused me to look in the rearview mirror, and they were already coming up on me. And I went right down where I keep my gun, and it wasn't there. So I just slung it into gear, and they just started firing. And
really?
I got hit.
You put it in drive and took off.
First gear.
First gear.
This is a real car, 3 pedals.
Yeah. What were you driving?
65 Mustang 2+2 fastback.
65 2+2.
Means it's got a fold down rear seat.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I was trying to think what the 2+2 was in 65, 4-speed.
Yep.
And you 289, I guess.
Would be.
And you just take off.
I just took off.
And they just start firing into the car.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy for...
It was, but bad neighborhood. I didn't have much money at the time, so I was living in kind of a crappy neighborhood, splitting a house with a buddy of mine. And I think that not having the gun with me that night saved my life, because I would have hesitated another couple of seconds pulling like this, and I'd probably be dead.
So they just start firing into the car.
Yeah.
Now, you think they just wanted your money?
I can't imagine that they wanted the car. I mean, I don't think people get rolled for a 65 Mustang back in the 90s.
Right. Wasn't worth anything. And one of the bullets strikes you?
Yeah. Came through like up here on my shoulder and through my arm, because my arm was on the steering wheel, and out down here.
Oh, I can see it. See the scar.
Yeah.
And what do? You drive yourself to a hospital or something?
No. I was close to the house, so I drove to the house and wake up my roommate, tell him I've been shot, And he grabs his guns, I grab my guns. We're going to go out looking for him. I tie a knot, something around it, T-shirt, I don't even remember. And we get back in the car and go looking for him, and we didn't find anybody, obviously. We get back to the house, and the house is surrounded with cops, and they got the big lights on it, and they're yelling at everybody to come out of the house. And I walk up, and they're like, "You got to get out of here." And I was like, "Well, that's my house." And they were like, "Well, someone's been shot." And I was like, "It's me."
Right.
And they're like, "Well, who's in there?" And I was like, "Nobody." And I was like, "Who called the cops?" And Mark was like, he was my roommate at the time. He goes, "When you said you got shot, I called the cops." And then he said, "Let's go." I just hung up on him, so I left.
Oh, wow. They ever find the guys?
No.
Wow. So, is that a turning point for you, or you?
Not really. It didn't bother me at all. I mean, it got healed up, and went back to work. No big deal.
And so you continued to do the dual cop fireman thing
For a few more years, yeah.
For a few more years.
Yeah, it was just I had an entrepreneurial bug, and
Yeah.
it was one of the first times I ever saw my dad actually cry. Is when I quit. He thought I'd throw my life away because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have like something else I was going to do. I just like, "Dad, if I stay here, I'm gonna be sitting here in 20 years with a little pension and nothing else to show for it, And like some of the, I was pretty young in the fire department, and the older guys in there like, "Richard, you don't understand because you're too young. You made it to be a fireman, so you just need to shut up, get a fat wife and a bass boat, easy chair."
Right.
I was like, that's not exactly what I see my life as. I'm going to figure out something.
Yeah, I had the same aversion of that doing construction, because construction guys, well, also a lot of firemen do construction,
Side
do
jobs.
carpentry, side jobs because of the schedule, and they also know how a home is built, so they end up just gravitating to that world, So I knew a lot of firemen, carpenter guys, and I hung out with those same guys, and it was like go down to the lake, get a jet ski, get a boat, it was always get some rims for your dually and that sort of stuff. And I watched it because I worked with guys that were older than me, and I was like, I don't think this is a big picture way to go,
No.
And I could see you stick with it, you work real hard, and eventually you get a couple of toys and a little house somewhere and a fat wife, But I was thinking like you were thinking when I was in my 20s. I was like, there's got to be something better than this out there.
Well, I think the kicking point was I went to get my car washed. I had a black car at the time, and I went into the car wash, the automatic one, and they're wiping it down, and I'm paying the lady, and she goes, "You want one of the litter bags? Remember the litter bag they give you that you put on your radio knob so you could stuff your trash in there?"
Right.
And I said, "No, what I could use is one of these towels, because when I leave, water's going to drip out." And she goes, "Oh, these are too expensive. We can't give those away." And I was like, "Well, what's the purpose of the litter bag? Realistically, it's just to remind you to come back to the car wash."
Right, it's got the name on it.
So I was sitting there talking to my fireman buddies in the station. I said, "I could print on a nice towel, a throwaway paper towel type product. And I could print the same thing on there. It stays in the car. You got something to wipe up the spots. Serves the same purpose. I think I could sell these." They're like, "You're going to sell towels to a car wash?" They're laughing at me. They're telling me I'm stupid and all this. And so with that time off, I kind of developed this product, and I went to Las Vegas to the Car Wash Association show and took in like 900 orders from 900 car washes.
Wow.
And I come back and I'm telling them about my success. And of course, they're still poo-pooing on it. Don't worry about that. That's nothing. I was like, "Guys, I'm out of here." So that
How
was
old
kind of
were
the
you?
start. Like 26.
So you start with that. When does it start moving into cars and restoration
Well, all
modification?
my life I was buying and selling cars and motorcycles and stuff, looking at them in the Auto Trader, the newspaper and stuff like that. And even back when me and my dad had the newspaper route, I knew where all the cars were. I drove the streets twice a day, And so I stumbled into advertising and printing is what I stumbled into out of the fire station because of those wipes that I made. And I found I was real good at branding and building brands and helping people target their customers and sell and package. And it didn't matter the product. I just had a knack for it. I don't know where it came from. And so I got real good at it. And I built a very sizable advertising printing firm here in Dallas. When I came up with the idea for Gas Monkey in 2003, my wife and kid at the time weren't watching the shows that were on TV. And I asked her one Sunday morning, I said, why don't you watch these shows with me? They're great. She's like, oh, they're kicking boxes and pit bulls on chains and bandanas down to here. And, it's just bravado. I'm not letting
the car shows.
Yeah.
And the car shows.
Well, the motorcycle shows, too.
Yeah, it was all bravado. It was all, where's that? Where are the shock absorbers? They're not coming till Tuesday. They throw a wrench,
and all that.
Yeah, it was all kind of cooked.
And
drama.
so I thought about it, and I was like, they're missing the family part. Because, my dad and my dad's neighborhood where we grew up, the guys had cars and motorcycles, and they got together, and they drank some beers, and the kids are playing in the yard, playing kick the can or whatever, and mom's making burgers, and it was a family thing, And so I said, well, they're missing the family element. They're missing the fun factor element of it because they're pushing boxes and getting in fights. And I said, I think I can do this. And my wife's like, so you think you can just come up with a brand, make it popular, get a TV show on Discovery, and you've never done TV before, you've never done any of this stuff. And I was like, typical Texas, hold my beer, watch this. And so I sold my company and took what little seed money I had and started Gas Monkey, with the whole idea of getting in the street cred to get to a point where we're in the magazines and newspapers and things. Because again, you didn't have all this stuff. You had magazines and TV. You didn't have anything else. Yeah. And to get to a point where I could get a TV show, and with the whole idea of getting into not just the TV, but all the other aspects that I can get into that I'm into now, like bars and restaurants and tequila and energy drinks and all the apparel and hats and all of that stuff. That was the whole plan from the beginning. I wasn't discovered by Discovery. I shot all my own sizzle reels and went out there and shopped them and got told no 100 million times. Almost gave up, and finally landed the show in 2012.
Oh, really? It was that long?
Took 8 years.
And were you shooting it right here?
No, we were at my old shop up the street about a mile away.
Uh-huh.
I was in a 2-car garage behind another garage, and we didn't have anything. We didn't even have running water. We had to go to the garage in front of us, which was somebody else's business, to wash our hands or use the restroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so there was a kind of a self-belief you had, I think. I mean, a momentum. All the successful people I know just have a sort of, I just call it personal momentum. I don't know if it's I don't even know what to call it, because I don't know how much self-belief. Like, I don't know if they think they're great or winner or the chosen one or something like that. They just have a momentum where they just go forward all the time.
I just believed it would work because there was nothing like it. And I kept getting told no, because you've worked in Hollywood. Once they have a recipe, they never want to change it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this works and nothing else does. And this was a drastic pace change.
Well, they are very much used to a pattern. Like when I first started doing podcasting 16 years ago, they would go, how are you going to make money doing podcasting? And I would go, well, I would get an audience, and then once I have an audience, then I would just sell advertising. Mm-hmm. And they'd go, well, that's never going to work. Yeah. And I'd go, well, why not? That's all radio is. That's all TV is. I just got done with doing radio. That's all it's ever been. What's the difference between radio and podcasting?
Nothing.
And they'd go, well, because no one does that. And I'd go, well, just because they don't do it now, it doesn't mean they're not going to do it. And so I was like, I'll just do it. I'll get an audience. And then once we get the audience, we'll just have advertisers just like they do on radio.
Absolutely.
And it was pretty easy, but the whole idea, it was basically, this is never going to work because no one's ever done it. But there was no good reason for it. It was just, we're not used to this, and they're not that creative, and they follow kind of patterns and trends, and that's just how they do it.
Well, see, you're still out there and you're in the game, so you're being very nice. They're basically just a bunch of fucking assholes, and they suck. Okay, yeah. That's my line. You did not say that, I did. But they do get stuck in their ways, and I'm blessed that it got me here, but I wouldn't go back for $100 million today.
To the system, so to speak.
Way.
Yeah, you want autonomy.
No, I didn't want the autonomy. Those people are just,
well, I mean, now you
evil, blood-sucking, evil people out there.
Well, they're in a weird position in that they're sort of useless. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like there's you, creating things, and then there's people, ears and eyeballs, wanting to hear what you got, and then they got to wedge themselves in between and find something to do to get paid. And we've sort of figured out recently we don't really need these people anymore. I mean, when I would do TV shows in the 90s, 2000s, you'd see the credits roll with the producers. I created the show. I didn't even know half the people's names that were rolling.
I know exactly
down
what you're
that
saying.
thing. Like, I've never seen that guy. He's never been on set. He's never done anything.
I created my show. I never got a producer credit until like season 5.
Right. That's the whole point. Yeah, I had the same thing. And the guy, you'd see the name on there, and it'd be, that guy showed up once, and all he did was go to craft service and load up a plate, and then go back and eat it.
Exactly.
He's never done anything. And so, eventually, the way models and systems and economics work is those guys will have to get flushed out at some point.
I think it's happening very
It's happening.
quickly.
No, we're here now. And so those guys, I've found, don't contribute anything, but what they do is they overcompensate with bravado.
Oh,
you know what I mean? They go, I've been doing this 35 years. I think I know what I'm talking about. Now here's what we're doing, you know. But it's really just kind of born of insecurity, and they hate that the old system is gone because they're getting paid from a system that they didn't, you know, they're basically, you got guys here that will work on the cars, you got guys up here that are up front taking orders and doing whatever. What if you just had a bunch of guys wandering around doing nothing but getting paid more than these guys? Eventually, those guys you got to get rid of them.
Exactly.
And that's
where
the
I
new
finally
world
stand
order.
now, and I love it. I left in 2019, and we live solely on YouTube as a creator. And we're bigger, we're stronger, we're better. We got more viewers than I had on Discovery on primetime Monday nights.
Really?
I'm happy.
Yeah, and you have all the products and everything else. So you bet on yourself. You sell your business. You use the seed money to get started with Gas Monkey. You've been around the resto business, cars, detailing, all that kind of stuff, your whole life. You put the crew together, and you shoot the sizzle reel.
Yeah, I did. We shot 4 or 5 versions of it and shopped it all around. Got told yes a couple of times, only to be told no a few days later, and then finally it was a long silence from about most of 2011 and towards the very first of 2012. I get a phone call that says we got the show, but they're only giving me 6 episodes. And I was like, I don't think I can prove my concept in 6 episodes. I was real worried about it. I'm like, that's so little time to get people interested and hooked in 6 episodes. And so I asked for more. They said no. And I almost didn't take it because I had some other ventures going on at the time. I was doing pretty good and some other things. And Gas Monkey was still kind of a thing I was pushing. And my wife was like, if you don't do it, you'll never know. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And it'll bug me forever. So I went ahead and took it, and off we go. Before they ever aired an episode, but we had filmed 3, they ordered 10 more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, before we even aired. They knew they had something.
Is your dad around?
He is, but he doesn't know it. He's in a home just down the street for Alzheimer's. He's in late stage, he's circling the drain. He didn't get to see a whole lot of this, but he got to see enough. Which I'm really proud of. And probably a lot of people ask, what are you most proud of? And it said I'm in a position to be able to take care of my dad in the best way possible because, there's a lot of families out there that can't. And I mean, he's, for all intents and purposes, he's gone. He's in an infantile state. Can't eat, can't go to the bathroom, can't shower, can't do anything. His body just won't give up. Everything else is just shot. And what have you. But I got him in a great facility, and they do what they can, and one day he'll stop breathing, I guess.
How old is he?
Young, 79.
79. So
well,
he
it's
had
old.
you young.
Yeah, but he we had to start taking care of his books and stuff at 59.
Oh, really? So it started to set in
and
early.
then it started advancing quick, and he's been in the state that he's in now for a few years.
Wow.
He's been in a home for about 12.
Wow. So that's early onset.
It is.
Sad.
It sucks. I watched my grandfather go through it too, and then you got to sit there and worry, well, hell, do I got it? It's like, I don't know.
Well, it seems like, you stick around long enough and it'll find you. I don't know if it's always been around and everyone just died at 65, or because my dad made it to like 92, same thing kind of kicked in at the end. But I don't know, maybe that just would have happened to anybody who makes it past 89, 90.
You would think, but then there's a lot of people out there that are still kicking at 100.
I've talked to him. Norman Lear. I mean, I think he just passed, but that guy was 100 years old out producing TV shows. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah, love these guys. You know the guys at O'Reilly. Men, women, they know their business. Friendly, helpful service. People actually know their stuff, not just some kid staring at his phone the whole time. Always been an O'Reilly fan. Used them way back. I mean, I'm going back 40 years I used O'Reilly. Remember the one that was off of Laurel Canyon in North Hollywood? Anyway, now I use them for my race cars. Just prepped them the other day. So thousands of parts and accessories stocked in store and online, so you don't have to panic when the check engine light appears. You need wiper blades swapped, brake lights out. The pros over at O'Reilly can help you. And if you're not a hands-on DIY type, they'll send you to a good shop. They'll recommend somebody. So whether you're a gearhead or you don't know a lug nut from a donut, they'll walk you right through it. No attitude, just real help. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. Simply Safe. All right, listen up. If you've ever worried about safety for your home, now's the time to check out Simply Safe. This year, they're giving my listeners early access to their Black Friday sale. 60% off any new system. That's their biggest deal of the year. You're never going to beat it. So here's what makes Simply Safe different. It's real security because it can actually stop crime before it starts. Most systems alert you after someone's already inside. Too late by then. Simply Safe has live trained agents who can see what's going on outside your home and actually talk to the intruder, telling them that they're on camera and that the cops are on the way. They call it Active Guard Outdoor Protection, and it works. I've used Simply Safe for years. I trust Simply Safe with my family, with my home. They've been a great sponsor, and it's easy to set up. No contracts. You can check it all from your phone. It's Simply Safe, right, Dawson?
You can try it risk-free for 60 days with the money-back guarantee, so don't wait. Head to simplysafe.com/Adam and get 60% off any new system. That's simplysafe.com/Adam.
So you bet on yourself. You get to follow your passion. I guess, like I'm a car guy, but I think what I really liked is mechanical stuff more than per se being a car guy. Like I liked race cars because all the bits
I get it.
were all there. You know what I mean? Like I would see
Everything has to work.
There's a purpose. It's function. It's great form, but it's all function. And I always I gravitated toward race cars because everything on it was there for a reason. There wasn't any fake scoops or brake vents that didn't work, or any of that shit. Like I like that. I like tools. I just had a mechanical, like a yearning almost, and I don't think people understand that. They understand it as it pertains to music, like that guy's musical, he loves music, and they do it like, oh, this woman loves kids and loves working with kids and helping kids or whatever that is. But I always tell people that the wrencher mechanical gene is just as strong. Like you really get obsessed by it. And I don't know I don't know how you come down. Like, do you like there are guys who go, oh, I'm a car guy, but all they do is buy new cars and put rims on it. And I'm like, are you really a car guy or just a guy who wants to look like you're rich?
Well, no, see, I'm a conceptual guy. I understand how this stuff works mechanically and stuff, but I'm not a mechanic. I don't fabricate. I don't weld. I'm first and foremost a branding and business guy. And I decided to wrap my branding and business around something that I really love, which is cars and motorcycles. And I like the idea of designing it, and then I turn my team loose. So a lot of people come like, man, you build the best cars in the world. And I'll be like, no, I don't. My team does. Because I'll never take credit away from them. But what I found was the secret sauce that I didn't know going into it is because I don't technically do what they do. And most of them can't balance their checkbook. This is a match made in heaven.
Right.
Because, you can run the business, and in a lot of shops that come along and go away, it's because, they're trying to cross paths, and they're trying to, I run the shop and I work on the cars and this and that, and something fails at that point.
Right.
So by having I have a white line in the shop there, I'll show you. Mm-hmm. And when it passes there, that means to me, that's their world.
Right.
They're going to tell me how they need and what they need and all that kind of stuff. And up here is kind of the opposite. I tell them how it's going to work and what I expect. And it's really been a good partnership that way.
The business is changed a lot, and I'm happy for it. And I remember interviewing, the Ring brothers, guys who do guys. Really, really nice guys who do real nice work, and Bodie Stroud and a lot of these kind of guys. And I've talked to all of them way back, at least 10, 15 years ago. And I always say to them, I would say, what you're doing is really cool, but you're doing it on a Maverick, or you're doing it on a, 71 Mustang or something like that. And I'd go, what would be really cool is if you could start with a platform that was cool, like a Jaguar, or like when you did the Pantera. Mm-hmm. And you did a Pantera, right?
I did a white one and a blue one.
Right. So the point is instead of taking these American cars that didn't really have a great shape to them to start with and doing everything to get them into good shape, what if you pick something that had a really sexy shape, like a Dino Ferrari, or a 60s Jag, or a Pantera, or whatever, and that was your jumping off point. Like then you did what you do to something that was already an amazing shape, and people started doing it. And
they are.
And they're taking...
Sorry, amateur move.
That's all right. They're taking, like you got a Ferrari Testarossa back there.
Yeah.
And we can get into that. 6 wheels and interesting. But like when you did the Pantera, I was like, this is a car with a cool shape, mid-engine, European design with American power plant. And this is a good jumping off point. So then once you breathe on it, it's going next level.
Yes, sir.
Is that, I think the business is kind of going there now. So in the past, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm just saying it to people who are listening, which is, you wouldn't take a $300,000 car and tear it apart because economically it wasn't really there. You couldn't take a $300,000 car, tear it down, put 300 into it, and it'd be worth less than a $300,000 car. Now I think people are starting to appreciate it and understand that there's some value to that, and they'll pay you for it. So there's a business model now.
I believe that. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Guys like Singer and the other Porsche guys, they're tearing down, really expensive cars and turning them into $2 million Porsches instead of $800,000 Porsches. And it sounds crazy, but if you're getting the style that you want with absolute unbelievable perfection and performance.
Yeah, Gunther Works is the other one, but Bruce Canepa up in Northern California is taking Porsche 959s, which are, you guys can check me, but I don't think you could find a 959 for under 1.7, maybe 1.8. That's kind of what they're trading for. High ones, low twos, some certainly above 1.5. So he's taken a car that is trading for $1.7 million, taking it to a shop and gutting it. Just throwing the interior out, engine, drivetrain, complete teardown on a car that's at 1.7 to begin with, building the engines at his shop, doing everything to it, going next level with it, putting it back together, and selling it for, I don't know, 3.2 or something like that. Now that's a pretty ballsy bet.
That is.
Because you're taking apart a car that's already $2 million pretty much at the beginning, but we're there now, and there's people who pay for it, and that's good for guys like you.
Yeah, hopefully somebody's going to pay a pretty penny for the 6-wheel Testarossa. I bought 5 Testarossas out of some movie that Mark Wahlberg was in, out of Ireland. Brought them here, and I've made one as a full electric center steel and like a F1
really?
McLaren. And then we're making the 6-wheel.
So what do you get? You get a mid '80s Testarossa Ferrari. Think Miami Vice, I guess. Miami
Correct.
Vice starts with the Daytona, then switches to the cheese
Testarossa.
grater Testarossa. It's got the vents on the side. Anyway, it's not a super desirable Ferrari, so it's not as expensive as some Ferraris are.
No, you can buy a good Testarossa for $125,000.
Really?
Like a good one.
Really? That year. Right. So you take it and you go all electric with it.
I did.
Now you don't do that for a customer, right? You do it and then you sell it, right?
I still have it.
Oh, you still have
it? It's getting power swapped right now to technology changed in the last 3 years. So I'm making it a lot faster, a lot meaner, a lot everything. We also whacked the entire roof, and it's just got a small windshield and totally open, and we center steered it with the passenger on each side.
So it's like a speedster.
It's pretty neat.
Wow. So, and what are the guts of it, the electric? It's like from a Tesla, or how's it work?
You could call it Tesla, but it's that technology. But there's several companies that make those kind of motors and all of that technology. And what really worked out well is it's designed where all the weight's in the back on a Testarossa, because that's where the motor and trans and everything are. So everything lives back there still. So we're still holding the weight balances and everything as it was designed from the factory. And then we upgraded to Willwood big brakes all the way around, because we got to stop it. Those cars were never meant to go that fast. And we worked with Bilstein on all the shocks and coilovers, so they're all reservoirs. And we've got it set up to, we will be within fractions of seconds of the Tesla Plaid S on ludicrous mode. I mean, it's gonna be fast.
So what people should understand is, even though it's a Ferrari and it sounds great, it's got
this one don't. Can't
well,
hear it.
not this one. I mean, back in the day, it's a Ferrari. It's got a flat 12 in it, I guess, out of the factory, and it sounds cool. 0 to 60, that car's 7.0, 6.8. Something. I mean,
long time.
Yeah, I mean, a new Mini Cooper S would probably dust it 0 to 60.
Easy.
Yeah. So it's not. It's a Ferrari. It's cool, but it's not that quick.
Correct.
But nothing was in the mid '80s. A Corvette wasn't that quick, and a Porsche wasn't that quick. So now, I mean, maybe a turbo Porsche a little bit, but here's the point. You're going to go from a 6.8, 0 to 60, and you're going to take that number and you're going to cut it in less than half, right?
Oh, we're going to be 2.2.
Yeah, so that's supercar, crazy, nutty.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, because people don't realize how quick electric cars really are.
It's insane.
And, it's funny because people, and they must do it to you, but they do it to me. They come up and they go, I drive an electric Audi, and I pull up and people go, you drive an electric car, what the hell? Like it's like a sacrilege. I go, it's quick. It works. It's fine. I just got to get from point A to point B. I'm not against electric cars. Electric cars, I have a lot of vintage race cars and I race them and I like the way it sounds and everything. But there is nothing like going from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
No. And, I get the same thing. What do you think about electric? Well, I've built some electric and I like them. I said, and I don't have a problem with it because, people used to be against the V8 that came out in 32. Oh, that's a big old V8. You don't need that. And all of the changes people bitched about along the way. But electric, like I tell them, now you're new in your toolbox, you got a computer and maybe not so many screwdrivers.
Right.
Because if no matter what you get built and you get into your hands, you're going to mess with it. And if that means messing with the programming and making it faster or leaner or meaner, you're going to do it. And electric's just one of those avenues of travel.
So making it a center drive is really cool, like a McLaren F1 from the mid-90s, which is really bitching, just so people understand. The driver sits in the middle.
Yep.
And you got a passenger seat to your right and passenger to your left, and it's slid back a little bit, so
right.
you got some room. But it's a 3-person sports car, basically.
It's pretty fun.
And it's probably better, like a go-kart, that center driving position.
It is. It took a little getting used to because I'd never driven the center drive car, and now I love it. I wish it was here, but it's getting the upgrade right now.
There's a Ferrari out there that's a kind of one-off or two-off, built in the 60s, that was given to the Ferrari dealership out here as a gift. That's a center drive that looks something like a Dino, but it sort of predates the Dino a little bit. I can't think of the name. It was given to Luigi Scaglietti, I think the guy. The guy won Le Mans for Ferrari in the 50s, moved out to North America from Italy, and became the importer for Ferrari.
Smart guy.
The first, Luigi Canetti. Luigi Canetti was the guy's name. And anyways, a gift. They made this center drive, what looked like a Dino, but had a flat 12 in the back of it. Super bitchin'. I don't know.
Where's that car?
I'll never forget it because it went up for auction about, probably been about 8 years ago now, 7-8 years ago. And it was featured in that Wayne Carini TV show.
Okay.
And Wayne Carini, for those that don't know, nice guy, car guy, but he does a more serious car show.
Oh, yeah.
But informative, He got the car, he shook it down, cleaned it up, took it to auction, right? So now you got Luigi Canetti's son, because Luigi's gone, but he's got this sort of one-off Ferrari center drive, looks like a Dino, flat 12 in it. And it's a really cool piece. Has like a glass roof, and it's white. It's bitchin'. And so he goes in there, and they're at the auction. And he's at Barrett. He's not at Barrett. He's at RM or one of the hoity-toity, Gooding and Company, whatever, auction houses. And they don't know what the car's worth, because it's one-off and it's kind of hard. But they probably have a reserve of like $25 million, right? And I'll never forget it because the camera's on the guy and Wayne Carini, and they're sitting at the auction. It's a TV show. They're trying to build the drama up. And the thing's a no sale at like $23 million. And I remember the guy was incredulous. The guy was like, nothing but bad luck, And I remember thinking, your dad left you a car that's stalled out at $23 million, and you're disgusted by it. Like, he was like, what the hell, man? Why does everything happen to me? And I was like, my dad left me a Tony Bennett CD when he died. Like, you got this car. You probably shouldn't be as upset about it. I get it. You wanted 25, but he was like disgusted by it. And your dad, my dad, I don't think we got a
My dad's going to leave me a bill at the funeral home.
Right, he's going to leave you a bill. Right. So, but it reminded me of your car when you were talking about the center drive. So the six-wheeler, which is a really cool piece, is back there, and we'll hopefully take a walk around it.
Yeah, here in a minute, for sure.
At some point. So let's see how we're doing on time here. I know you got the vet you wanted to talk about.
Oh, it's right behind you. 2026 ZR1.
Yeah.
Fully loaded, everything. We're giving it away on GasMonkeyGarage.com. And the trick with this one is if the person that wins so desires, Santa Monkey, I guess myself, will deliver it to them on Christmas Day.
Oh, really?
To their house, yeah. So it's pretty cool.
And the Corvette has become a world beater in terms of technology and in terms of performance. And, you know, Corvette's kind of weird because Corvette, it's sort of like it's like a professional NFL franchise where you go, oh man, the Steelers had some glory days, you know, and then they go, oh, they had some tough years too, you know, and then they go, oh, but they came back and won a Super Bowl in '96 or something. You go, oh, okay. Then you go, oh, they're kind of struggling now. You know what they are. You're always kind of cheering for them. And vets have kind of been that way. They've had some really good years and some lean years, but they finally figured it out mid-engine. Ferrari beaters now, and they're back.
I truly believe that the ZR1 that's behind you, whoever, if you're allowed to buy one of those, you should have to pass a test.
Yeah.
It's truly a weapon. It is absolutely terrifying if you don't know what you're doing. That car is so fast, and it handles so well. Everything about that car is amazing.
Is it the flat plane crank one, or is it the turbocharged one?
That one's turbo.
I don't know there's too many variants of vets now, or I can't figure out what all of them are.
The top of the top. I think they've delivered about 300 of them so far.
And it's got, how much is that, 800 horsepower?
1,064.
1,064.
And you know how sometimes with advertising they fudge that a little bit. Somebody put one on a dyno and it showed 120 something at the rear. So it's got that horsepower. 1,020 something at the rear.
Right.
So it's got the horsepower, and I haven't
1,020 something at the rear.
Yeah, so it's definitely over 1,064.
Oh, you know, there's horsepower that's made at the crank.
Correct.
And then there's at the rear wheels. And the rear wheels, they got to go through the differential, through the transmission, and through the half shafts, and through the drive shaft, propeller shaft, whatever.
Yeah.
It scrubs off horsepower.
Absolutely.
And if you're making 1,020 to the rear, I mean, you may be over 1,064 at the
Absolutely.
crank. Yeah, because it'll rub off, I don't know, 10% or something.
Exactly. That car is really neat, and somebody's going to get it for the price of a T-shirt. You know, that's all they got to do.
So you buy a T-shirt and you're in the running.
Yeah.
So to speak.
It's been pretty cool. This is our 27th giveaway, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And it's pretty fun because, you know, getting to give away cars and keys and cash. And one guy was literally in tears, and he wanted the truck that we were giving away, but he needed the money for heart surgery. He didn't have any insurance. And so he had a cash option. So he was lucky enough that he won at just the right time that, you know, in a way he saved his life. He was like,
all right.
He was like, Richard, he goes, I need the money. I said, well, you know that the money's not, it's a little less than what the thing's worth. I said, you should probably take the truck and sell it. He goes, I don't have time. Because if I can get that money, I can get surgery and I might live on it. And so we went and saw him after he'd had surgery and stuff, and he was doing way better. It was pretty cool.
That is nice.
It was really cool.
So this is, you said the 28th?
This ends on December the 20th.
I'm sorry, the number of cars you've given away.
28th giveaway.
28th, that's
27th? 6th, sorry. Now I know, 26th.
Yeah. So this will be done Christmas.
Yeah, December 20th it ends, and then, you know, depending on logistics and stuff, I'll deliver it to somebody on Christmas Day.
How do they, there has to be like a sanctioning body or something, right?
There is. You got to go through.
They can't just leave it up to you, and then turns out your neighbor got it or something like that.
We've got a sweepstakes company out of New York that certifies all of it, and a third-party accounting firm that draws the randomized number. And
right.
Stuff. It's all legal beagle.
Yeah. They got. It's weird. Like, there's companies that if you do a thing where you go, hey, at the hockey game, you'll do a shot from the blue line to see if you can make it through a piece of plywood that's put in front of the net, whatever.
Exactly.
We'll give you $1 million if you make it. Those guys are insured.
That's an insurance type program.
That's
we
an
do it every
insurance
once in a
thing,
while
right.
here. We used to do the winner of the vehicle would also come here for a big party. They get their car, but they also got a chance at $1 million, and we'd put 100 envelopes on the wall, and they have to pick one.
Oh,
And
wow.
if $1 million is in that envelope, they get it. One guy missed it by one number. He picked number 4, and it was number 3.
Oh, wow.
And I started to mess with him, but I don't mess with people in games of chance because I was like, what are you going to pick? He goes, I don't know, man. I got 3 kids and, da-da-da-da. And he tells me all this. And then when it comes time to pick his number, he picked number 4. And I was like, I wonder why he didn't pick 3, but I didn't think about it. So he pulled 4. Obviously, he didn't win the $1 million, but the certified body is here. And they go, well, here's the number. And they pulled 3. And it was like, whew. He's talking about his 3 kids, talking about the number 3. And I was like, why in the hell did you go with 4? He goes, I don't know, just at the last second, it told me to choose 4. I was like,
He's a big Dale Earnhardt fan. I think he was 3 on the side
he
of
was.
the car.
He was.
That was a deep pull for me. So you're giving away the vet,
Absolutely.
which will be cool, and you'll literally ship it wherever
Absolutely.
they are.
Yeah. Or they can come here and party and drive it home. I had a guy win a Demon 170, which is more or less a drag car, right?
Right.
Came here and drove it back to California.
Really?
Yeah.
A Dodge Demon.
Yeah.
With the skinny ass front tires?
Yep.
Wow.
He goes, I'm just going to. I said, the car's kind of for drag race and stuff. He goes, I don't care.
I love that guy. And I know you're doing something with the Kelsey brothers.
Yeah,
as well.
Garage Beer. It's all around us here, and what have you. So I've been on with Garage Beer since we were in 4 states, and now we're in all 50 states. Fastest growing light beer out there, and just kicking ass and taking names. When we grew up, we had the big 3. That was our choices, right? And so we went after
Miller, Coors, Bud.
Yeah, and
Right.
so now we went after, we first started trying to take it to market. They wanted to, we're a light beer. That's all we are. Just as a matter of fact, I haven't even offered you one. What's wrong with me? I'm being a bad host.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a light beer,
Thank you.
garage style. But we started going after the big 3 because we wanted cheers.
Cheers,
And,
man. Tastes good.
And they wanted to put us into the specialty section. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no. Put us right next to the big 3. They were like, you'll get cream. You won't make it. You'll lose. Your missus will fail. They finally started doing it. Now we're in Costco's and Walmart's and every C-stores out there. And just
How'd you get hooked up with the Kelsey brothers?
I didn't. The company was foreign, but they came to me, and I got involved. And then I guess they went to the Kelsey brothers. And the Kelseys own a much larger stake in the company than I do, but I do own part of it. And I still haven't met them, but they're doing real well with the brand, and it's going good. I'm pretty excited about it. It's growing fast.
You have a sort of what's next thought? I mean, I know it's cars, it's really cool stuff. 6-wheel Testarossas and whatnot, but is there something you got, like sort of a holy grail out there? Is there something you want to do? You want to drive at Sebring or something? You want to drive it 24 hours at Daytona? Is there a thing?
When it comes to the racing, I can't do it. I don't have the patience to sit and wait and, to get my time on the track, or to sit around while I'm waiting, to switch drivers, or especially I was in drag racing for a long time as a team owner. And I didn't even like being there to wait, so I'm really antsy. So I don't think I could ever be the driver guy. But building those kind of teams, I like being a part of. I'm bringing my tequila back. We were doing real well prior to COVID, but part of my exit from, we'll call it Hollywood as a whole, I had to shut some divisions down and get rid of some partnerships. And so now we own everything outright. So I'm bringing back tequila, and I'm bringing back Gas Monkey Energy. And those are that, and opening more restaurants and bars. We've located 3 more locations. I've got the one big one here in Dallas, Gas Monkey Ice House, and then I've got Gas Monkey Sturgis up in Sturgis, South Dakota. And next we'll be going to Pasadena, Odessa, and Galveston.
Pasadena, Texas,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. You wouldn't dare try to do anything in California, would you?
If I never have to go to California again in my life, I'm super happy with that.
I feel the same way, except for I'm going back in a few days, but I still feel the same way.
Do you know the tax advantages of living in Texas?
Oh my God!
Goodness.
It hurts. All right, Richard. I think we should give you a plug and then go check out that 6-wheel.
Plug away.
Gas Monkey energy drinks, right?
Well,
YouTube, Gas
not yet,
Monkey. But Gas Monkey Garage is where you should just go on YouTube.
GasMonkeyGarage.com and Gas Monkey Garage on YouTube is where they need to be. I left Discovery 6 years ago, and we have tours coming here with 200-300 people on Mondays and Fridays, and they don't know that I'm on YouTube because Discovery is still making so much money on the show. They're playing it worldwide.
Right.
It's still the #1 automotive motorcycle lifestyle show in the world.
Wow.
And it's been 6 years since I made a new episode.
Well, see fresh episodes on Gas Monkey Garage on YouTube.
There you go.
Thanks, Richard.
Excellent.
Thanks, man.
The Perfect Gene. Oh, what a perfect name for the Perfect Gene. Yep. You know what I hate about jeans? All the stiffness, squeezing, the dreaded plumber's crack when you're bending over. The Perfect Gene, it fixes all that. Super soft and stretchy. So comfy. It's like wearing nothing, but still looks sharp. Ordering jeans online is usually a nightmare too, but these fit right the first time. No return drama, by the way. Yes, I was paid to try them, but honestly, I love how they feel. Soft as a baby's bottom, stretchy enough to move around freely. I really don't normally like wearing jeans because they're uncomfortable, but these jeans I wear on stage because they're so comfortable. And usually I drop $150, $200. The Perfect Jean is just $79.99, but feels way worth it. No compromises. They have 6 fits and tons of sizes. Skinny, thick, short, tall. They've got all your real body covered. They're den khakis, the holy grail of pants, by the way. Work, comfy, office, sharp, it's all there. I wholeheartedly recommend the Perfect Jean. You'll wonder how you ever wore anything else. It's the Perfect Jean, right, Dawson?
For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc or Google The Perfect Gene and use code ADAM15 for 15% off. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc with promo code ADAM15. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Fuck your khakis and get The Perfect Gene.
This November, action is free on Pluto TV. Go on the run with Jack Reacher.
Every suspect was a train killer.
Then buckle up for Drive, World War Z,
Every human being we save is one less to fight.
and Charlie's Angels.
Damn, I hate to fly.
Launch into sci-fi adventure with The Fifth Element and laugh through the mayhem in Tropic Thunder.
What is going on here?
All the thrills, all for free. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
Here's a beat from Beat It Out with Jay Moore and Adam Carolla.
You can't make yourself food when you're on crutches. You can't carry a plate anywhere in the house.
Oh, really?
If you have a cup of coffee, you're going to drink it at the fucking coffee maker. You can't walk around with a cup of coffee in your hands with crutches.
Yeah.
You can't talk on your phone at the same time.
Can you hobble?
Yeah,
Okay.
but you can't hobble with a plate of meatballs. They're going to go all over the room. See what I'm up against?
No, you got to eat pancakes. You got to eat hobble food.
Yeah.
Pancakes, French toast, flat stuff that's stuck down with
Pizza.
syrup. Yeah, pizza. Stuff that's welded in plate with maple syrup. You can't eat rolly foods.
Nachos are out.
You can't eat little Geno's pizza rolls. You can't eat meatballs. Sushi rolls, no good. Stuff that rolls, no
Pizza
good,
roll.
right?
You can't, yeah, like you said.
You can't eat spring rolls. You could eat pot stickers because they
Yeah.
have the word sticker right in there.
You get me.
Yeah.
Beat It Out with Adam Carolla and Jay Moore. Subscribe to the show at adamcarolla.com/substack. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Tim Hardaway Sr. is in studio. His book, Killer Crossover, My Life from the Chicago Streets to Basketball Royalty. It's available now everywhere you find finer books. Tim is many years in the NBA, 13 seasons, played with the Golden State Warriors, Miami Heat, Dallas Mavericks, Denver Nuggets, Pacers, 5-time All-Star, and, of course, gold medal with the U.S. Olympic team. Sydney, 2000. Good to see you, Tim.
Thanks for having me.
So I was reading that your game would be different if you're playing in today's NBA.
You know what? You never know what your game going to be like in today's NBA because I didn't grow up in today's NBA. I didn't grow up, 2000 and until now. I grew up in, when it was still tough. We didn't have all this social media. We didn't have all this these games or these laptops or anything like that. So we had to make our own fun. We had to do our own stuff. We had to, make our own baskets. We had to make our, football. We played football, neighborhood against neighborhood, block against block, stuff like that. So we had to do a lot of our own stuff. Like, we had to do our own stuff. Kids today grow with a silver spoon in their mouth, which we want that for our kids.
Yeah, I guess, but maybe a silver spork or something. Like it's too much. It is.
Yeah,
it is too much. It's funny. I was listening to my buddy Jimmy Kimmel, and he was giving a eulogy for his good friend and my good friend Cleto Escobedo, who's his band leader, and he was recounting his life with Cleto as a young person, having to go out, and we'd go out and we'd do these practical jokes, and we'd go out Friday nights and hang our ass out the window and moon people, and we'd go in here and do that and shoplift this, and it was all kind of like make your own fun.
Right.
And it was creative. It had to be a little dangerous, because if it wasn't a little dangerous, it was no good. You know what I mean? Like if it was too safe, it wasn't fun.
Correct.
You wouldn't jump off a stool into a swimming pool. You jump off a roof into a swimming pool because there was concrete and you could kill yourself. And all the stories he was telling were all just made up fun. There's different, there's kind of an inner city version of it and a suburbs version of it. But either way, it's males, teens, boredom, no money.
Yes.
And no video and no arcade and no just find it yourself.
Exactly. Just had to find it yourself. And I found basketball. I found basketball. And when kids, they insult my intelligence when they say they can't go out there and work on their game by themselves. I'm like, I did.
Yeah.
I worked on my game by myself because it wasn't nobody out there that we didn't have trainers. We didn't have somebody that we go to. Our parents wasn't taking us here to work out or there to work out. We had to catch I'm from Chicago. We had to catch the city transit to get to different places. There was no Uber. And definitely we wasn't getting in cabs at 10, 12, 13, 14 years old. Right. So we had to catch the Chicago Transit Authority. That's what it's called. And we had to catch the bus. We had to catch a train. We had to ride a bike, through different neighborhoods, and we had to get to the parks. And we discovered how to just play with ourselves, passing the ball to one another, behind the back pass. We're going to do a behind the back pass all the way left hand and right hand, all the way for a block or half a block and then switch up. Dribble between your legs like walking the ball for a block, and every block you walk, you get a quarter, or you get $1. When you get to the basketball courts, all right, who can make 10 layups, or who can make 10 free throws, or who can make 10 or 5 bank shots and stuff like that. You just made up games. So when kids tell me that they can't work on their games by themselves, that's just insulting my intelligence, because I went out there and done it, and I became a Hall of Famer by doing it.
Yeah, I was thinking back. We used to play 2-man baseball.
Yes.
Which I took a baseball. The baseball sometimes would be my home run ball from Little League, because we didn't have another ball.
Right.
And then we'd go to the blacktop and the backstop and the school next to where I lived, and whoever pitched had a skateboard. And when you batted, And if you hit a double, the guy'd have to get on the skateboard and go chase the ball down the thing. And it was also kind of an honor system. Like, that was a pop out. That was a home run.
Yes.
That was a double.
Right.
And we wouldn't even argue that much. You could tell when a hit was you drill one up the middle. Okay, that's a single.
Right.
We kind of knew where it was. And that's what we did all day. And it also struck me, as you were talking about your childhood, because we're about the same age, And I grew up in North Hollywood. You grew up in Chicago. And we grew up in a very different environment, I'm sure. But I don't think things were that different. We're just poor.
Yes.
And nobody was going to take us to Arizona to go to camp for 3 weeks and learn, talk to this celebrity or that celebrity athlete. It was just leave the house, make your own fun.
Yes.
Transportation, when you said a cab, I didn't even know what a cab was for rich people who lived in New York.
Downtown.
We'd go... If we ever went to the beach, we'd take the bus to the beach. It took 5 transfers to get to Santa Monica.
Yep.
And then you had your bike. And by the way, sometimes you didn't have your bike. You had the handlebars of your friend's bike who was riding with you on the handlebars.
Right.
And that's just it. You just left.
Yes.
And you made your own fun.
Yes.
And you skinned your own knees and you worked your stuff out. People had to kind of know where the limits were, what you would do, what you wouldn't do. And there wasn't a big difference between the San Fernando Valley, which is pretty much just a bunch of middle class, lower middle class sort of white dudes, and where you grew up. It's the same thing, groups.
Yes.
Word would get out, we're playing football. We're doing it Saturday.
Yep.
We're going to Walter Reed. We're going to be on the girls' soccer field. We're going to be there at 10 a.m. We're picking up teams.
Exactly.
It was like that's the word. There was no texting or internet. There was just the word.
The word. Just somebody, if you tell somebody, they'll tell somebody, they'll see somebody, they'll tell them, yo, on Saturday, we're going to the park. Everybody going to be at the park playing football at 10 a.m. You want to join us to be there. And people there at 9 o'clock. People there at 8:30, stretching out, getting ready to play, actually playing football early before we even start a real football game. So, like you was asking me, how will I be in this era? I don't know. I couldn't even tell you because I grew up differently. I grew up, tough. I grew up having to do stuff for myself. I grew up not counting on nobody. I grew up, when my parents told me no means no, and that was it, and don't ask questions. I couldn't ask why, or he got that, or my friend has that. No, boy, when it was no, do not ask questions, and that was that. So
because I said so.
Yeah,
I know it's like almost doesn't work anymore. But your parents stayed together. They worked.
No. My dad, like I said in the book, he drank alcohol, and he was he abused my mom, and it was just because of the alcohol. He really didn't know. He knew, but the alcohol really took over. A lot of the things that he did around the house, we were scared of him. We were scared. I used to bite my nails and all that type of stuff. But basketball was the way out for me, and to just get out there and be physical and clear my mind and to get away from stuff. And he was a basketball legend in the streets of Chicago. And a lot of people knew him, and I just gravitated to basketball, and I watched him play, and I took over his attitude on the court, how to play, how to play tough, how to defend your man, how to go to the basket, how to think the game, how to understand the game, how to understand your opponent and all that. And but yeah, it was kind of tough in my household, and my mom finally got away from him. And left him when I was in 6th grade, and I had to become a man right then and there because my brother, he was like, he's 7 years behind me, so it was like, he was just a baby, and we had to, I had to become a man right then and there. I had to take him up on. I had to, do what a man's supposed to do, take care of my brother when my mom wasn't at home, But I took him to a lot of play. I took him to a lot of parks. I took him to a lot of parks where he could play, and I knew where he was at, and I didn't have to worry about him back then. I played basketball in the streets of Chicago, in the parks of Chicago, and brought him back home, during the summer, and during the year, we knew that where he was at school and all that, nursery school and everything, until we got older and stuff. So yeah, I had to take care of him. I had to be, like I said, become a man. So yeah, growing up then, we knew how to become men. A lot of these kids today don't have that structure understand how to become a man at that particular time in their lives.
Well, also, it strikes me they don't really want to be a man because when we were younger,
I think they want to be a man. I just don't know if they know how to be a man because they haven't been correctly taught while they was growing up.
well, here's what I'm going to say. When I was young, it was all about pretending like you were older. Like girls stuffed their bras when they were 13 to try to look like they were 17, you know. Guys would smoke a cigarette or drink a beer when they were 13 just to look older. You wanted to hang out with the older people. You wanted to appear to be older. Now, this is all I know. My kids and everybody I talk to, when I talk to them about their sons, they go, my kid didn't even want a driver's license. He's 18. He still doesn't have a driver. I go, I don't know what's going on. They don't even care if they get their driver's license. We were like, you got to get your driver's license the second you turn 16 because that's freedom, man.
Freedom.
You are out.
Gone.
And I failed driver's education when I was in high school, so I had to sign up for one of those Sears schools where you'd go to a strip mall and you'd be there for 72 hours and just do it like a crash course, pardon the pun. And but my 16th birthday, I was at the DMV. I wanted my license.
I didn't fail the first time. I was there. I got mine the first time. I wanted to drive. I wanted to get out.
Right, and so I talked. So I was, my son, he's 19 now, but when he was like, 17, I was like, where's your driver's license? I don't know. I go, why don't you go get your driver's license? I don't need one. He didn't want to leave. He didn't have to leave. He had air conditioning, an 80-inch television, a fridge full of food. Yeah. He wasn't going anywhere. He didn't need to go anywhere. Right. And then I started talking to other people about their sons and daughters, and they would go, yeah, my daughter's 19, she doesn't have her driver's license. Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't care. And that was the Mason-Dixon line for me. That's when I realized they weren't desperate to get out. Like, we wanted out, yes. Independence,
yes.
Break away,
yes.
Autonomy.
Yes. No, my kids, they wanted to get out. They wanted to get their driver's license. They wanted to drive themselves. They wanted to get out and have some fun and come in when they wanted to come in and do that, all that type of stuff. So my kids was ambitious. They from the first get-go. Because, first of all, you with a family that we go out of town. We do stuff every summer. We go somewhere. We have fun 2 or 3 times a summer. So my kids was used to going places, doing stuff, getting out, having fun, enjoying themselves, not being in front of a TV, not being in front of a laptop or iPad. We was out, doing stuff as a family or being at a AAU basketball game as a family when we was watching Tim. So,
Tim, your son.
Mm-hmm.
Your son.
Yeah, Tim.
He's in the NBA now.
Yes.
On the Nuggets.
Yes, on the Nuggets.
How old was Tim when he thought he could beat you in basketball?
He was like a junior in high school. Junior in high school, he no, you know what? Going like his what was that? His going into his freshman year in college. Freshman year in college, that's when he knew that he could beat me. He kind of like stutter stepped, and I went for the stutter step, and he kind of crossed me over, and I look back. I mean, I was thinking like, oh, he about to dunk on me. I said, oh. And I sprinted back and I snatched him out the air because he was about 6'6" at that time. I snatched him out the air. I was like, no, you can't embarrass me in front of company. So I said, we're not going to play no more basketball. You won, and that was it, and that was all. But
you could beat him up until then.
Yes.
And you guys probably had some pretty epic one-on-ones?
You know what? We didn't play one-on-one all the time. It was like fun. And have posting up here, showing him some skills here and there, how to post up, showing him some little techniques on how to maneuver his footwork and get around people, and how to use the how to use the dribble and what he needs to do, that type of stuff. That's what we need to work on. But when we played a game, it was like physical. It was real physical.
Homes.com. Love me some Homes.com. Some might say Homes.com is the best home shopping site. I say that. It may be Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory. Or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. I love hanging out on Homes.com. It's a hobby, but it's also a good way to keep track of the market as well. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This November, action is free on Pluto TV. Go on the run with Jack Reacher.
Every suspect was a train killer.
Then buckle up for Drive, World War Z.
Every human being we save is one less fight.
And Charlie's Angels.
Damn, I hate to fly.
Launch into sci-fi adventure with The Fifth Element and laugh through the mayhem in Tropic Thunder.
What is going on here?
All the thrills, all for free. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
Who are some of the guys you played with that like you could really feel their game in that? I don't know. When you box, you don't really know until you get in the ring with the person. Then you get in the ring with the person, you go, oh, this guy's got power. And you can kind of feel it on him. But you can't really watch it on TV. You have to kind of feel it. You know,
a lot of people didn't think Chris Mullin was strong. Chris Mullin was very strong, a lot of people didn't think what was that? Scottie Pippen wasn't strong, but he was very strong. Even wiry guys like Gary Payton, they didn't think he was strong, or Rod Strickland, but they were strong. It was hard to post them up. It was hard to get around them at times. When you play against them, you're like, oh wow, you got some strength to you.
Yeah, it's the wiry guys that seem to have that leverage.
And then you got some bulky guys that was weak. You think they were strong, but when you box them out or you push them, you're like, oh, that's for nothing right there. All them muscles are for nothing.
Well, you must also excelled at football and like other sports.
No, I did not. I was playing football, and I'm in high school, and a guy was on my team that was a running back. We was playing against some big white guys, and they tackled him real hard right in front of the bench, and they said, and there's more of that where this comes from. I walked to the locker room, and I took off my shoulder pads and my uniform, and I went and sat up in the stands, and I reached over the fence and put my all that over the fence right there by them. And they was like, Hardaway, where's Hardaway?
In high school?
In high school. And I was like,
what year?
It was like my sophomore year.
Were you on the junior varsity or the varsity?
Varsity.
You're on varsity?
Yeah, I'm varsity.
And what position you playing?
I was going to play quarterback.
You're playing quarterback?
Yes. And
but you weren't starting?
No, I wasn't starting. I was coming off the bench. And, and then I went and sat up in the benches.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't talk to the coaches or anything?
No, I just took my stuff off, went up there and sat down. He was like, Hardaway. And then the rest of the team was calling me all type of names. I was like, yes, that's me. I will be that. I'm not scared to be that. Yeah. Did you see how hard they tackled that guy? They was like, yeah, that's football. I said, yeah, well, I'm not. No, that's not for me.
So you knew there was basketball?
Yeah, I was playing basketball. That's why I went to school there for basketball. But I wanted to try some football. And after I saw the guy get hit, I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Because real like fast twitch muscle footwork stuff, like you could. Like, I don't know.
I was better at basketball than I was going to be a football.
Yeah,
point
I know,
blank.
But you could play any sport because you were quick.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, I could play any sport. But yeah, I mean that it's like a boxer. They say when a guy fights or when he boxes or whatever, you don't know until you want to box until you get hit in the nose or until you get hit in the face. Then you be like, oh, okay. I'm going to still box, or this is it for me.
Yeah, so you excelled at basketball. You got recruited out of high school to college.
Yes, Texas El Paso.
You excelled there.
Yes.
Drafted in the NBA.
Yes.
What year was your draft?
89.
89. Who else was around in that draft?
Man, you had Pooh Richardson.
Richardson.
Yep. You had who else was it? Purvis Ellison.
Yeah.
He went number 1 to Sacramento. Pooh Richardson. Then you had Mookie Blaylock, George McLeod, Michael Smith. Was it Glenn Rice? I thought Glenn was before
I'm just looking at the screen.
Was it
Danny Ferry?
Yeah, Glenn Rice. Okay. Yep. Danny Ferry. Yep. Sean Kemp, B.J. Armstrong, Dana Barrows. Mm-hmm.
It was kind of interesting. I don't know.
Elliott. Yeah.
I don't know if you can answer this. I don't know if it's answerable, but pro football, it's kind of tough. They take these guys, they win the Heisman, they go number 1 and bust. You know what I mean? Flame out. But then that happens in basketball too. But I don't know which one's harder to figure out. I mean, you see Michael Jordan when he's playing college ball, or maybe Larry Bird or Magic, and you go, okay, that's going to work in the league. Like I could see they knew those guys were going to work. But then there's lots of guys that just don't work out. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what that transition from college to pros is for certain guys.
Well, you playing against grown men. You going from college playing with kids to playing against grown men in the NBA. You're talking about grown men that's been in the league 10 years, 8 years, 7 years, understand how to take care of their body, know how to they know angles, they know how to cut you off, they know how to stop you from getting where you need to get to. They stronger, they more physical. Sometimes a lot of guys come in thinking they got it figured out already, and then when they come in and don't know that they see that they don't have it figured out, then it kind of hurt them. It kind of hurt their feelings, kind of hurt their confidence and everything. So and they not able to recover, and then you got when you leave college, it's you in the big boy league now, and the media's on you. The fans are on you. They calling you a bust. They say you overrated. Even your own fans at times. So yeah, you have to come in ready. You have to be with a real strong mentality. Like I grew up with a real strong mentality because I was always criticized, and I always took that as constructive criticism. You short. You're not going to be able to shoot over big guys.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 feet, but I'm talking about when I was little. When I was in high school, I was little.
How tall were you in high school?
I don't know, probably about 5'9".
Oh, I mean, 6 foot's short for the NBA.
Right. But Isaiah Thomas made it 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2", good for the NBA.
Yeah.
But I mean, you coming up through Chicago, hardcore Chicago, and I just took it as constructive criticism. Some people take it as criticism, like I can't take the criticism anymore. And I seen people crumble and stop playing in the parks, go to different parks, and confidence is just gone. I just took it as constructive criticism. I came out each and every day and knew I was one of the best players out there, and I played like it each and every time I went out there. And it bothered me when I had a subpar day, and when I had a good day, it still bothered me because I knew I could have had a better day. So yeah, it's just how you grew up, and how you believe in yourself, how much confidence you got, and you go out there and you learn. You learn from experience. You learn the ups and you learn the downs. You learn the good and the bad. You learn, who to mess with, who not to mess with. When to talk, when not to talk. You just go through the criticism. And that's what I did, and that's what prepared me to play in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm with you on the criticism. even if it's not constructive, I don't know. I mean, in a weird way.
No.
All of it's constructive. You took it as constructive.
I took it as constructive criticism. I didn't say it was constructive criticism. I took it as constructive criticism.
I don't even know why we need to qualify it, because I've took a lot. You take criticism.
Yes.
And then you can figure out what you want to do with the criticism.
Correct.
And people tell you stuff, and if you argue with them or you try to push it back on them, so a lot of people have a posture where somebody comes up to them and they go, hey, what you did was fine, but here's where I think you could improve. And then they go, oh, yeah, here's what you could improve. And then you start arguing with the person, and then you don't improve. I always took it as a guy who played a lot of stuff and had a lot of coaches and stuff. When they'd come up and get up on you, it's because they cared.
Right.
It's because they wanted you to be better.
Exactly.
It's because they thought there was some potential. When they stop talking to you, that's when you're in trouble. That means they've thrown in the towel or given up hope. And there's a lot of people just in my life where I went, okay, screw that guy. I'm not even going to waste my breath on that person anymore.
Exactly.
That's bad. Whether you're a player or an employee or a neighbor, or whatever, when the person just goes, no more talking to you because this is not worth it anymore. That's what you don't want. You want them telling you stuff. And, okay, doesn't feel good, fine, fix it.
I had a lot of people talk to me, and I listened to them, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether I didn't believe them or not believe them. But I still listened to them, because you never knew when somebody tell you something that might happen to your life. And probably, I say about 50% of things that people have told me has happened in my life, and I knew how to deal with it at that particular time. So I'm in high school, and one of my dad's good friends, he watching me play, and I go up and block somebody's shot off the glass. I pinned it to the glass, and I go down. I lay
at 5'9".
Yeah. And I pinned it to the glass, and I will go down the court, and I passed the ball to somebody for a layup. And I came after the game. I said, "Did you see me do that? You block that guy shot off the glass the first time I pinned somebody's stuff on the glass and this and that." He said, and he was right in front of my dad, and this is my dad's good friend. And he said, "Look, you little short MF, you don't talk about yourself. You let us talk about you. We saw what you did. You don't brag on yourself. You let us brag on you." And I shut up right then and there, and I understood what he was saying. And right then and there, I never bragged about myself. I never, said anything like that again. I let everybody else say it, and I was like, yeah, that was good play, something like that. But I never did that. It's just things like that people, you got to listen to what they saying and instead of how they saying it. And I listened to what he said, and I understood exactly what he was saying, and I kept it to myself, and I let it go. Like in high school, a teacher of mine, she said, "Yeah, I'm gonna carry a safety pin." I said, "What's the safety pin for?" She said, "Because if your head gets a little bit too big, I could hit it, I could bust it just a little bit, and just let a little bit air out, just a little bit out." And she always said this. So I'm walking through the hallway. Her name was Miss Hunter. She said, "Hey, Hardaway, I got my safety pin out, just in case. I just see something. That's all." I'm like, "Okay, Miss Hunter," and she kept me grounded. It's just things like that people just say to you that I understood, and I understood what they were saying, and I kept it humble. A lot of these kids, some people might say to them, they might say F you, or they might say you don't know what you're talking about, or you this and that. That's what I think gets these kids in trouble today, and I think that's what they don't help themselves by just listening to people and listening to what they have to say, because if they did, it'll help them grow, and it'll help them mature a lot faster.
Yeah, and also you have to have, I don't know if I want to call it a thick skin, but you have to have the ability to hear people, and you have to hear what they have to say. If you're going to push yourself out there, if you want to play basketball in front of people, or you want to do stand-up comedy in front of people, then those people are going to have some thoughts.
Right.
And you have to kind of listen to them.
Correct.
And it's all good because I like architecture, I like building and that kind of stuff. I always take people through my project and I go, here's what I'm thinking, but what do you think? Mm-hmm. And 8 or 9 times out of 10, their thoughts aren't any good because that's not their business and they don't have experience. But once in a while, someone goes, you should bust the fireplace open so you can have it in the master bedroom and the living room. And I go, oh, thank you. Thank you. Free, by the way, you don't have to pay them.
Right.
They just come up with a thing, and you should get as many opinions as you can on stuff. And when I build stuff, I always say to my guy, here's what I want to do. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me what I got wrong. Here's my design. Here's my plan. Now tell me. Mm-hmm. If you don't open that door to tell me, if you make them feel like they're going to get yelled at if they give their opinion or something like that, then you're going to miss out on a whole bunch of free stuff that are good ideas.
Well, you right in your aspect, but in basketball, you go out there and work on your game and you have your own opinions about your game. You go ask, what do I need to work on? And they'll tell you what you need to work on to get better. I knew what I need to work on to get better. I knew what people was telling me that I couldn't do. I wanted to go out and show them that I could do it. So in basketball, when you tell somebody you can't do it or you need to work on that, that's what they need to work on. Or if you don't need to work on anything, you just need to sharpen all your skills up. You sharpen all your skills up. And you always take something from somebody else. Everybody in the NBA takes something from somebody else. If you look at it, somebody took something from me. Somebody took something from Michael Jordan. Somebody took something from Kobe Bryant. Somebody took something from Gary Payton. Somebody took something from Scottie Pippen. You always stealing somebody's move or their post-up moves or something new that you see that something that you like, oh, I could use that.
Yeah,
that's in the NBA or basketball, period.
It's probably in most creative endeavors. Because really, basketball to me, I really realize is this kind of improv. And it's sort of jazz. And it's just sort of jazz improv. It's not really reading sheet music. Not all of it, but a lot of great improvisers.
Well, on offense it is.
Yeah, on offense. On offense.
No question. On offense is very improvising.
It's an improvisational gene where you're moving the ball down the court.
Yes.
You're looking at everything and you're doing a no-look pass around the back or whatever. It's all split decision. Yes. I don't even know how much of it is conscious.
Boom, boom.
But playing the jazz saxophone has to be that as well. Yes. You're just there. You're not looking at notes. You're just playing.
Yes.
And you're feeling it.
Yes.
And it feels very improvisational to me. And comedy can be that way, jazz can be that way, and leading a fast break can be that way.
I can see comedy being that way where you can, when you're talking about something, you're making a point, then somebody say something out in the audience, then you revert to them. And then
what it is like if you're running down the court on a fast break and you're thinking, I'm going to throw the ball to number 4 the whole time, you're locked in.
Right.
You're already locked in.
But you're not going to be doing that.
I know you're not going to do it.
Right,
and
right,
in comedy, you can't go, here's what I'm going to say.
Right.
You have to react.
Right.
I always say, like a good center fielder, just be on the balls of your feet and be in that position, but don't start running before it comes off the bat.
Correct.
You don't know if you're going forward, backward, right, or left.
Exactly. You never know. You got to be ready, though.
If you're in that right, neutral, kind of buoyant position with the weight just right, when it comes off the bat, you're already moving.
Correct.
And there's a comedy improv version of that. Mm-hmm. There's probably a basketball version, and there's a jazz sax version of that as well. So, yeah, and then you watch, I don't know, I just watched The Last Dance the other night. I rewatched it just because it's so interesting and compelling.
It is.
It's got to be interesting for you being there, knowing a lot of those guys, living it. For me, it's just compelling as hell just sitting on the sofa watching it, never being near it. But it's still crazy. But like you said, you show Michael Jordan give the Kobe tip on the turnaround, And then people lifting stuff off Kobe, but Kobe got some of that stuff from Jordan.
Yes.
So now it's like a generational thing. It's not you're taking him, you're taking Jordan and him and putting that into your game. And just how tough those games were with Detroit Pistons and Lambeer and that whole world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to watch them. Like I said, I'm from Chicago. I used to go to the games. I'm Isaiah Thomas is my idol. He's from Chicago, and I watched him as I was growing up, and I patterned my game after him. So those were good battles, and I love watching those battles. But a lot of things, a lot of people don't know about Michael. He did not say one word. He gets knocked down. He keeps getting up. He loses. He doesn't say anything about the referees. He doesn't say anything about his coaches. He doesn't say anything about his team. The only thing he says, we got to get better. We got to get stronger. We got to get mentally stronger, and we got to get physically stronger to contend with them, because we got to get through them to get to that next step to win a championship. Each and every year, he said the same thing, and each and every year, he did not criticize nobody. He did not get mad at nobody. He just got himself better, and he got his teammates better. So when it was time to win, that's why they was the dynasty that they was at that particular time.
Well, I mean, you realize the work ethic with that guy.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
How insane the work ethic was.
I saw it.
And
yes.
I think we spend a little too much time talking about people being blessed or God-given ability or whatever. True. But
no, he was blessed,
but the work ethic.
You still got to work at it, just like Kobe. Kobe was blessed, and his work ethic was tremendous. Like you still hear stories. I was listening to somebody on a podcast, and they was talking about Kobe was. They was practicing, and he was there early. They was practicing, and after practice, he cut his tape off and went back in there and retaped up again. And he said, "Now it's time to work on my individual game."
Right.
So that's how you approach it. This is your livelihood. This is what you love to do. I love to play basketball. I love to go out there and compete. I love to go out there and cross somebody over. I love to go out there and play some defense on somebody and hit a crowd. If somebody crosses me over and shoot something in my face, so I go back down. So next time I stick him, that he won't be give the crowd that's the competitiveness. That's the hard work. That's the dedication that you put into it each and every night. And a lot of people, like, I love to play 82 games. A day off. A day off. We practiced and we played 82 games. And, we went out there and played hard. It's a lot of teams that's getting blown out by 40, 50 points every night. And I'm trying to figure out, you got to have pride to come out and stop this getting beat up or getting embarrassed. Now, that's embarrassing. Losing by 40, 30, 40, 50 points every night is embarrassing.
Right.
So you got to, as a team, we got to come out and say, look, man, and you got to talk to your teammates, we got to stop this. All right, we here, and I'm embarrassed. I know y'all embarrassed. So we got to come out here and play together and play harder. We got to play harder each and every night so we can win and so we get some respectability around here. And that's what teams have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's
hard to do.
Kind of
It's hard
into
to do.
A business, and
it's turned into a business. But if you want to win, if you on a team to win instead of it being a business, like Kobe, he was on a team to win.
Yeah.
Michael was on a team to win. I was on a team with Chris Mullin and Mitch Richmond to win, with Alonzo Mourning and all those guys to win. It's still a business, but we's on there to win. But when you want to go on there, if you want to have it to be a business, you're just not gonna win.
Well, I guess what I want to tell people is it's a better business when you do win.
Oh, no question.
So
Everybody
treat it that way.
Everybody gets the accolades, no matter if you're the 12th man on the team. If you win, you're going to get the accolades and you're going to get paid.
The book, Killer Crossover, My Life from the Chicago Streets to Basketball Royalty. Tim Hardaway Sr., thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Book's available now wherever you find finer books. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
You can leave us a voicemail at 888-634-1744 and get tickets to see the Ace Man at AdamCarolla.com.